Well, good morning and welcome to our Wednesday Pastor Check-In with Pastor Brian. That's me. It's a joy to have you with me on this Wednesday morning here in smack dab in the middle of Advent. It is one of my favorite seasons in the year. And part of that is because we've got this beautiful, beautiful greenery that we hang in the sanctuary, as I'm sure you do in your home with your tree, with your garland, and perhaps a wreath or other kinds of greenery and lights. And I'm here thinking about Christmas traditions. All of those things, and we all have them, I'm sure, in some way. Those things which we do to mark the season every year. Parties, celebrations, services. I can think of my own family Christmas traditions. Usually we would get together with our extended family on my dad's side and get together for a 40 or 50 person get together, and there would be a gift exchange as a part of that and a meal. And then I would get together with my family on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. We have to schedule that around me usually being busy on Christmas Eve. And then we go to my wife Trisha's family, and we usually do an immediate family celebration with them, and sometimes some extended family celebrations there. And I can think of all the traditions that I love to be a part of, the Simpson College lessons and carols, and seeing different Advent traditions too, going around and looking at lights. But I bet for you could name, and it might take a while to name them all of the traditions, big and small, that you grew up doing, that you in your own family, as you have grown older, have developed, things that you've continued, perhaps even over generations, things that tie back into your cultural heritage. I know several people who are of Swedish descent who have a lot of Christmas traditions that harken back to even some of their relatives who came over from Europe and brought these traditions with related to Christmas. There are probably things that you do, whether it's parties, whether it's ways of marking time, to celebrate this season. However, I wonder if these were traditions that you think back to the things that you would normally do or you did last year, how many of those you are doing this year? Because I think it goes without saying that this year will be different. There are traditions we won't be able to do because they involve gathering. One of the biggest traditions, gathering together in person, packing the house on Christmas Eve here for our 3 services, would normally be one of the things we would love and look forward most to doing. We will not be able to do in person. We're working hard on getting some online services. That'll be 3 and 5, by the way, on Christmas Eve. We're working hard on getting those together, but it's true that it won't be quite the same. I wonder what won't quite be the same for you this season. And I think it's important to acknowledge those things, those ways which it won't be what we expected. But I think about the Christmas story, and I bet you know it pretty well by now, Mary and Joseph. And I wonder how much of their Christmas was unexpected. Truth be told, they weren't looking to carry out any traditions when Christ was born. They were just looking for a place to have their kid, to escape Herod's seeking after them, and to find a place to take this kid and give birth to him. And it turns out it ended up there was no place but a horse barn. That's where they had to have him. And all of the things that we now see as traditional things happening after, the wise men coming over, people coming to visit this child and observing him in the manger, and the angels coming down and greeting them and saying, "Don't be afraid. This is all part of the plan." They didn't know how the plan was going to go at that first Christmas. And, I just think about how not only were they not seeking to fulfill any traditions, they didn't know what was coming next. And I think in a certain way, although I kind of glossed over some of the details there, if you think about the Christmas story broadly speaking, it's a story of unexpectation. In a way, there's that book that says what to expect when you're expecting. I don't think if Mary had read that book, she would know all that she would need to expect was going to happen. And even so, it was there. It was on that journey that Christ was born. And as we have come to know who Christ is through his life and his suffering and death even, we know that he is a person who is known for violating traditions, for bucking trends, and saying there is a new way. There is a new way of doing things. And so I wonder, even if we expect to get back to old traditions after this pandemic is over, I wonder if you can be in this space of saying, what is the new way? What can be the new thing that God is doing amidst all of this in this Christmas season? We could approach all of the changes we'll have to make with the appropriate amount of angst and upset feelings, or we could bring to that excitement and wonder and curiosity about what God will do even now, even as we are estranged from one another in body, how we are able to be reunited in new ways in spirit. Something to consider as you continue along in this Advent season and probably already start some of your Christmas traditions, as altered as they may be. I hope you'll remember what this season is about and what this season says about expectations, fulfilled or unfulfilled. I leave that for you today in hopes that it might help to color your Advent journey with a brighter palette as we all seek to do this together. A reminder, as always, that I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear a Christmas tradition, maybe that you have going back to your childhood or as part of your cultural experience or in your family, carrying it forward. Whether you're doing it or not this year, I'd love to hear if you want to drop a comment below and share a little bit about what you love about your Christmas memories. I also know that for some people, those memories aren't so sweet and perhaps are affected by the loss of a loved one. So we take that into consideration too, knowing that this year is not always as bright for some as it is for others. All right, it's good to be with you. God bless you.